Hey everybody, welcome to this session of Family Story Times on Race and Diversity. I'm your friend Sierra Williams from the Red Bank Public Library, and look where I am. I'm sitting on the banks of the Navesink River here in Red Bank. It's a beautiful day and I wanted to share it with you. It is November. It's National Native American History Month, and it's also the month that we celebrate Thanksgiving. So of course we're going to talk about those things. But first I want to thank you for participating in these programs with me. I really hope that they're helping you to think about yourself and others in a different way. And I also hope that you're having continuing conversations about race and justice and equality in your homes. I think it's really important because it seems that nowadays people have it in their minds that kids can only become racist if they're actively taught to be that way. And I think we can all agree that babies are not born racist. That's true. But the world that we live in is. It is. That's what we've been talking about. And so we just have to intentionally teach our children that everyone is equal, that everyone deserves respect, that we should celebrate our differences. And if we don't do that, then they will just draw their own conclusions based on what they're exposed to out in the wider world, what they see on TV, on the internet, what they hear in their classrooms and on the street and in the news. And that is just not the way we want to do it. So we have to talk about it. And what really gets me is that when we started this program of June of 2020, we were all together, all races, all genders, all ages, all nationalities, were marching together in the streets in protest over the brutal murder of George Floyd at the hands of police. We all seemed to be of the same mindset. We all started to have a national conversation about race. It seemed that we were moving in the right direction all together. And then somehow, some way, that seems like a million years ago, because we're at a place where people are offended and upset by the idea of talking about systemic racism or teaching about it or about our true history in our schools. And books are being banned. Even here in New Jersey, children's books, some of the ones that we've read in this program, and it just is unbelievable and very upsetting. So once again, we have to talk about these things. We have to push back against these things, and we have to focus on what we can do for ourselves. And I think the number one thing that we can do on our own is to embrace diversity in our own lives. And now I'm talking to you kids, because do you know that your generation is like extra special and completely unique? And I'm going to tell you why. Because you are growing up in an America that is more diverse than it's ever been before in history. It's true. You probably go to school with kids from different backgrounds than you, from different cultures, races. Maybe they speak a different language. Maybe they're interracial or mixed like me. And guess what? It wasn't always like that throughout American history. Ask your parents or your grandparents. They'll tell you. And honestly, it's not like that for every kid in America. But I think it's true that you can all, at the push of a button, connect with people across the world. The shows that you watch, the videos, the music you listen to is all created by artists from different backgrounds and ways of life. And so you, more than any other generation ever, have the ability to be the most inclusive and embrace diversity in a way that can really be an example to the rest of us. And I hope that you will do that. And then the other thing that we can do is to talk with each other as a family and make sure that we all understand each other's values, especially as these things pop up in the news and in our own own lives, talk about them so you know where you stand and you can let other people know. Because when you don't speak up, then people kind of assume that you're okay with what's going on. And we don't want that. Let me read you a book or show you a book, because reading books is like the easiest, most natural way to start these conversations in your home. That's what we do in this program. That's what you can do. There's so many great children's books. And today we're going to read a story about Native Americans. It's called Giving Thanks, a Native American Good Morning Message. You know, Native Americans are a people whose culture and way of life is really not known to most of us, because it's been ignored in our history books and in our classrooms for the most part. And so theirs is a history not only of hardship and struggle, but also of beauty and wisdom and strength and tradition and inspiration. And so this is a nice book that I want to share with you that will remind us of how Indigenous people celebrate and appreciate the earth and nature and all that they give us. It's written by Chief Jake Swamp and illustrated by Erwin Printup, Jr. It's a Reading Rainbow book. That might mean something to some of you. And I just want to quickly read you the author's note. It's at the beginning of the book. He wants us to know this. It says, the words in this book are based on the Thanksgiving Address, an ancient message of peace and appreciation of Mother Earth and all her inhabitants. These words of thanks come from the native people known as the Iroquois, the people from upstate New York and Canada. These words are still spoken at ceremonial and governmental gatherings. It says, children are taught to greet the world each morning by saying a thank you to all living things. They learn that according to Native American tradition, people everywhere are embraced as family. Our diversity, like all the wonders of nature, is truly a gift for which we are thankful. I love that, because that's what we're talking about. Here it goes. As always, pay attention to the illustrations, look for some hidden images, and listen to all the things we should be thankful for. To be a human being is an honor, and we offer thanksgiving for all the gifts of life. Mother Earth, we thank you for giving us everything that we need. Thank you, deep blue waters around Mother Earth, for you are the force that takes thirst away from all living things. We give thanks to green grasses that feel so good against our bare feet, and for the cool beauty you bring to Mother Earth's floor. It's pretty. Thank you, good foods from Mother Earth, our life sustainers, for making us happy when we are hungry. Fruits and berries, we thank you for your color and sweetness. We are all thankful to good medicine herbs for healing us when we are sick. Thank you, all the animals in the world, for keeping our precious forests clean. All the trees in the world, we're thankful for the shade and warmth that you give us. Thank you, all the birds in the world, for singing your beautiful songs for all to enjoy. Can you hear the birds right now? We give thanks to you, gentle four winds, for bringing clean air for us to breathe from the four directions. Do you see the wind? What are the four directions that the wind blows from? Thank you, Grandfather Thunder Beings, for bringing rains to help all living things grow. Look at the Thunder Beings. I think they look so cool. Elder Brother Sun, we send thanks. for shining your light and warming Mother Earth. Do you see the image of elder brother sun around his light? Thank you, Grandmother Moon, for growing full every month to light the darkness for children and sparkling waters. See Grandmother Moon? We give you thanks, twinkling stars, for making the night sky so beautiful and for sprinkling morning dewdrops on the plants. Spirit protectors of our past and present, we thank you for showing us ways to live in peace and harmony with one another. And most of all, thank you, Great Spirit, for giving us all these wonderful gifts so we will be happy and healthy every day and every night. The end. I really love this book because it focuses on the earth and nature and all that they give us, and it reminds us of what we should be thankful for. You know, in this area that I am is where the Lenni Lenape people lived, and their way of life was tied to everything around me and everything in this book. Let's see. You know, I'm sitting by the water. Thank you, deep blue water, for you are the force that takes thirst away. So they got water here to cook and clean and bathe. They fished in this water, and that's amazing. Look, food from the earth that they grew here. They lived on this land. They grew food. They lived in peace and harmony with these animals and the birds that are still singing today. And the wind and the rain and the sun and the moon were all part of their daily life. And they're things that we don't think about so much anymore, that we should be thankful for. You know, we live and work and go to school in buildings that have heat and air conditioning. We turn on the faucet to get water to drink and bathe and cook. We just go to the store to buy our food and clothes. And we should be thankful for all of those things. Absolutely we should. But we should also remember that when we turn on that faucet, that water still comes from the earth, right? When we eat our food, it still comes from the earth. Yes, I bought it from the grocery store, but this came from the earth. And what else? Oh, the fuel that heats our homes comes from the earth. So many things. The wind and the rain and the sun and the moon, we still experience them. They still give us light and energy and beauty and life. And so we should be thankful for them. I think it's just amazing that this is the same river and the same land that the Lenni Lenape people lived on. That the sun and the moon that rise and set in the sky, it's the same sun that rose and set on them for hundreds of thousands of years. That's pretty cool. I think that you might be interested to learn about the indigenous people that lived where you live. You can go online and figure that out. What were they called? What was their way of life like? What happened to them? The Lenape people were forced to resettle on reservations in Oklahoma. That's over 1,000 miles away from here. Can you imagine that? There's so many stories for us to learn about our indigenous people. And we can do that, like I said, by going online to do some research. You can also read books. You know, I want to remind you about the library and all that we have. So there's some beautiful books for all ages that can help you learn more about their culture. Buffalo Bird Girl, This one is called At the Mountain's Base. I love the illustrations in this one. This is a nice one for older kids called Native American History for Kids. It has activities in it too. And this is a newer book that's so important. It's called We Are Still Here, Native American Truths Everyone Should Know. Because absolutely there are still Native Americans in our communities today who contribute so much to our culture and to our country. And we should know about that. Because remember, Native American history is our history. It's American history. And we should know more about it. The other thing that I want you to think about is what you're thankful for. What you're thankful for today in your everyday life. Let me find my book again. Remember that this is called a Native American Good Morning Message. And the author told us that their children are taught to greet the world each morning by saying thank you to all living things. What if you started each day by being thankful and thinking of something you were thankful for? Don't you think that would set you up to have a great day, to just be in a good mood? I do. I think that's something you might want to think about doing during this holiday season. Start each day by being thankful, because do you know that your good mood can rub off on other people? Hasn't that ever happened when you're not feeling so great, but somebody else is in a great mood and their mood eventually just rubs off on you? And then your good mood rubs off on somebody else? That's called having a ripple effect, a good ripple effect. I want to show you something about that. See this rock? Watch when I throw it into the water. Even though it disappears, it makes a splash, and then it makes ripples that go far, far out from where they started. And this is an illustration of the ripple effect. One little rock or one little thing that you do can start something really big. That's pretty cool, right? So we want to have a positive ripple effect out there. Remember when I said that you can be an example to others about embracing diversity? Well, to really embrace diversity, you have to be thankful for it. You should. The author again told us our diversity, like all the wonders of nature, is truly a gift for which we are thankful. And so we really open ourselves up to more ideas, to more creativity, to more possibilities when we embrace more and more people. And we can discover so many new things too. New and delicious foods, awesome art and music, new and interesting places to visit, and friendships that we might never have known if we weren't open to meeting and loving people who are different than us. And so these are the things that make our lives better, that we should be thankful for, I think. I want to give you a fun project to do before we're done. Maybe you can do this even on Thanksgiving or leading up to Thanksgiving. Sit together as a family and paint some rocks and write on them what you're thankful for, and make a gratitude garden, rock garden. So my rocks are family, friends. What else did I write? My health. I think I'll make more rocks to say my work, because I love my job, my home, and all the many blessings that I have. Don't you think this could be a fun project for you? I do. I'm thankful for you, my friends. And You could sprinkle them around your garden. You can pile them up in the center of your table. You could carry it in your pocket to remind yourself of what you're thankful for. Whenever you see one, it'll make you smile and remember what's good in your life. And if you don't want to carry it around, just keep that gratitude in your heart, okay? And pass it on. Get that ripple effect going. And while you're at it, pass some of this on too. Some peace and love, okay? Have a wonderful holiday. Thanks for hanging out with me. Take good care, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.